Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to be here as a neighbor, and it's a pleasure to continue the visit of the Basque Coast from the French to Spanish side. First of all, I'm not at all a geologist. Since that's okay, I will present you a geosite dealing with paleontology, but that will be fine. That's a very famous site in France and Europe, and we will see also beyond the frontiers because it's an iconic site recognizing the geo-heritage at the world scale. So we will speak about Ammonite from Lower Jurassic and especially from outcropping at the slab of Digne-les. Digne-les takes part of the UNESCO Global Geopark of Haute-Provence, but also it's a national natural reserve based on the high value of geological elements. No, this way. Yeah. So why it's now declared as a global geosite? Because it's one of the world famous and outstanding accumulation of fossils from a lower Jurassic marine environment. I don't know if I can try to cite like for the Ordovician times in Portugal, but I think we can say also it's a kind of lower Jurassic orgy because we have a lot of cephalopods and a high concentration along this slab. It's a typical example of serendipity because we have an unexpected discovery during roadworks in 1970s that make cropping out this amazing slab. So I make this presentation on behalf of my colleagues who worked a lot in this area. I continue to work in this area. So Didier Bert, Sylvie Crasquin, Miette Guillaumard, Guy Martini, and Jean-Simon Pagès. Okay, geographic location. So it's located in southeast of France at the start of the Provence area. It's called Haute-Provence. It takes part of the UNESCO Global Geopark of Haute-Provence. And in 1984, it's a good year because I was born in this year, but it's a natural geological reserve of Haute-Provence. It's one of the first declared in France based on geoheritage. So that's a very important site in France. In terms of geology, so you can see the geological map. You have different main geological basin, and it takes part the site of the Southeast Basin, and more precisely of the Sub-Alpine Basin. It takes part of the Western Alps, and more precisely, it takes part of the Digne Alloctonus unit, tectonic units. It's top to the south unit. And here it's a more detailed geological mapping here. You can see the thrust up to the south, and you can see in the color of blue the lower Jurassic area. It's more precisely Cinemurian. Okay, the geological description. So you can see the stratigraphic pie here with the location, of the slab of Ammonite. So it's in Cinemurian and more precisely in lower Cinemurian. So this slab, as I said, it's a Marly limestone lower Jurassic sequence, part of the nappe of Digne. And these lower Jurassic sediments record the early history of the Southeast Basin in the Alpine Tethys Ocean, rifting setting. In terms of paleontology, so it's a slab measuring about 320 square meters and bears more than 1,550 cephalopods, and also nautilus, but you have also benthic fauna like bivalves and crinoids. And the ammonites are largely represented by single species, namely Coroniceras multicostatum that you can see on this photography. And its outcrop characterizes a well-known stratigraphic biohorizon in Western Europe, and especially the top of the Bucklandy zone. Digne slab is the only well-exposed outcrop presenting such a concentration of fossils and constitutes an international reference for this stratigraphic level. In terms of scientific tradition, so it's a world-renowned site and is a reliable biostratigraphic marker for establishing correlation with the fauna of the Mediterranean part of the former Tethys Ocean. And also, we heard yesterday, but also today, it's important to have global geosites who are marked the history of geoscience, but it's also important to have new research and new perspective to know better each site. That's the way of thinking of the team who are working in this area because they use, for the first time, the 3D scan, the 3D scan technology for scanning all the slab. And it makes possibility to detect intraspecific variability of a large lower Jurassic Ammonite species. Okay, I say it's a famous site, is in the framework of a geopark and also a natural reserve. So this site hosts a lot of tourism. So it's a high iconic place for geotourism. And we have, from recent time, new developments carried out in this place to have a conservation of this site. And you have a lot of panels also for every public, from young people to older people. And you have also arrangements for people with reduced mobility. It's important to popularize for all publics. In terms of main argument for this IUGS recognition, we have a spectacular concentration of fossil of ammonites of this age of Lower Jurassic. It offers the best exposure of the species of Coroniceras multicostatum bio-horizon in Europe and allowing for new paleontological analysis. And also, this site constitutes an international reference for this stratigraphic level. This site also is close to Digne-les, a famous city for geoheritage and specialist of this new geoscience, relatively recent, because in 1991, Digne-les hosts for the first time the first colloquium dealing with geoheritage and recognition of this new geoscience and the high value of some elements taking part to the geodiversity. And it was also the occasion for the International Declaration of the Rights of the Memory of Earth, who paved the way of this new geoscience. And as I say, this site takes part of Geological National Reserve of UNESCO Geopark of Haute-Provence, which was one of the first created in the world, with Spain, Germany, and Greece in 2000, and paved the way to be recognized then in 2015 by an official label of UNESCO. And also it's a good site taking part from the official French Heritage Inventory with the international and national relevance. Muchas gracias, merci, thank you.